Yes, good evening, dear ladies and gentlemen. We are happy to have you around us, and gradually we are going deep into the real menu. First of all, we welcome you by asking how you are faring. We believe that you have a very beautiful day, even though busy. In fact, this is what is supposed to be, because as men, as professionals, we are meant to work in our respective organization. So after going through your daily activity, here we are for our additional program. And we are happy that you turn out, especially come on time. This is our heart's desire. Yesterday, we were privileged to start with course 101, which is the foundation. And if you pay careful attention, you will see that the instructor gives us what is needed or what are required to have a solid basis as far as safety, health, security, sustainability, and of course, environment is concerned. And I promise you, this evening course is going to be fantastic and wonderful, because the driver, our pilot, is so passionate about when it comes to safety culture. Also, please do not forget to have a soft drink or water beside you to hydrate yourself as soon as often. Also, do not forget ergonomic factor. From time to time, always stand up and make body movement, so that to make equilibrium of your physical system. And not the least, always remember to make good note. By now, you might have had the presentation with you. Please, while we make sure that you have the presentation, is to let your heart not be stick to the presentation, but rather to the explanation. Therefore, don't forget to mute yourself to avoid background noise. Failure to do that, you'll be moved to the waiting room. Thank you very much. Without wasting too much time, let us give the floor to the one and only queen among us. Queen in terms of safety and professionalism. Therefore, let us welcome all. Unless, please, if you have any question, jot them down at the end, we're gonna discuss. So let's give the floor to our queen as she embark us through safety culture. And for precision, today we are dealing with course 104 instead of course 102. The reason is that so that you can get well deep impressed with the safety culture. That's where we quickly do background, back office changing. So all the way stick to the program, and we hand over the anchor to our pilot, Tiffany Ellis William. You have the floor.
Yes, Leon, I have some bad news. I lost my crown, so I have an alternative. So far for professionalism. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're in time, because I have things to tell you, so many things to tell you. I always request a weekend retreat, and I only get 2 hours. So I'm going to bombard you with a lot of things. I hope you, well, I'm sure you will enjoy. I'm sure you will learn something you didn't know yet. I don't know if Miss Goldie is here, Miss Golden is here, or Peace, but they will confirm to you every time you come to this class, every time you return. Just as I said on Sunday, there will be something new that you discover, or the meaning of it you will have a deeper understanding, a deeper insight about things, especially when you hear it from different people. And this also is something that is so fantastic about OSHAssociation. We are very different people from different countries with different fields, and we all see things in a different way. And this is also key to explaining to everybody why we should follow health and safety rules. So let me share my screen. I'm looking. I'm sure, sorry, I have so many things open. I think it's this one. If it wants to go. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, 0.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So I call this I call us the Extraordinary League of OHS professionals, because it takes a special person. I'm trying to adjust my screen. It takes a special person to get into this matter of health and safety and environment and so on, security. It all belongs, as Mr. Walaka said, to the same thing. And I think Mr. Richmond said it yesterday too, security. That's what it's about. That is actually the word for health and safety and your environment, your house also, the company where you work in, where you spend 8 hours or more or less a day. So it's very important that we feel safe. It is one of the fundamentals of the pyramid of Maslow, which you probably know also from marketing and so on. So the fundamentals of people, of happiness, actually. So my screen doesn't want to go forward. One moment, please. So as said, don't mind all this coming in. So as said, mute your sound. So it's important that, and it's respectful, that we all, yeah, I'm distracted now, that we all have respect for one another, for the students that want to follow. Students is such a crazy word. We call you delegates normally, because we are learning from you too. And I think that's a very important dynamic, that we learn from you too, especially since you are also, among you are professionals, and there is a real value about somebody who is just starting, those so-called fresh eyes on the matter, where we are staring ourselves blind on some matters which can help us improve. And this is what it's about, also improvement constantly. Now, I wanted to say something, but I don't think she's in the room yet. The only lady, Miss Emma, I wanted to put her in the spotlight. I don't know if she's in the room yet or whether she will join us tonight. But I wanted to put her in the spotlight because I think she did something very important yesterday, because she stood up and spoke what she believed in. She was a very fair person and defending the ones that didn't speak. This is a characteristic that is admirable, but you also have to know that there is a deeper understanding, as Mr. Richmond yesterday wanted to give you an example, come to an example that would make you clear how to explain to some people in a different way, again, because he's a different person, how to explain health and safety to a person, which can be done in many, many ways. And I will talk a lot about it today too. The reason why we say we kick you out of the room if you make too much noise, and we can respect that when you are just joining, there is this moment that you aren't muted. When you come into the room, we cannot prevent that. So there will be some disruption if you stay unmuted, and we put you in the waiting room. This is a measure. Of course, yes, we as hosts can mute you, but you don't do that in health and safety either. You put many measures in place to prevent the same thing. You put a safety rule and you ask the people to abide it, to follow it, And if they don't, you have another measure in place which will ensure their safety or their health or their security or whatever the thing is. So this is the same thing. We will put you in the waiting room if you don't mute yourself. So a plus for Mrs. Emma, and I hope she will come to understand that that it is going a little bit farther than only what she did yesterday, which is admirable and which takes courage. So why is my screen not going? So the importance of prevention. As I said, Sunday, it's a mission, it's a calling. We save lives before the danger is there, and COVID is a perfect example of that. We had the doctors that saved people that are sick, and well, COVID isn't over yet. So my son's best friends tested positive yesterday, and they were on a camping trip together. So we tested negative, but we have a chance to get it finally. So I hope we don't, but still. So it's not over yet. And the doctors take care of the ones that catch it. But this situation proved how important it is to have health and safety professionals that tell us things to do, like wearing masks and keeping distance and so on, and washing of hands, which is important in any biological for any biological agent. In fact, we have saved lives before the danger hit. If we weren't there as safety and health professionals with our rules and recommendations, then the whole world would have had COVID. Maybe we would only be half the people on the world. So we try to put as much extra value as possible, because we think it's important that you join our family, and well, that as many people as possible join our family and be an advocate and spread the good vibe of increasing quality of life and happiness, actually, because you get more security, so you will be a happier person. If you don't understand anything, ask. I know I'm going to talk, so maybe it's not the time, my presentation, to ask things, but write it down, please, and do ask it. I see there are in the chat already some messages. No, okay, that's not for me. Any job you want is passion. If you started this course as a person that is here as an individual, whether you are a paying individual here or a person that is sent by his organization or her organization, you are the right person for the job. There is a reason why it shows you. You are already the person that people go to for help, that is nice to people, that is watching out for people, and so on and so on. So it's necessary to have passion for the job. We breathe, we eat, drink, sleep, health and safety. We care for people. If you are playing guitar, if you after this course say, no, this is not my thing, again, I think that no, I know that it will improve your life anyways, following this course. But if you say after this course, this is not my thing, that's just fine. Because if you can't find your passion in it, it's not for you. You're not going to be a great health and safety professional. But you're not going to be a great anything if you don't have passion. It's the same with playing guitar, for example. If you play guitar, you can be a really good technical person and really technical, good playing guitar, but somebody who doesn't play with feeling isn't the best guitarist. And that's the passion I'm talking about. So I put a picture of the ikigai. That's a Japanese word. That's actually your mission, your destination, the reason why you are on this earth. And it's a combination of your passion, your mission, well, something you are good at, which you are good at, you usually like to do, and you can get paid for it, and the world needs it. Health and safety. Who doesn't need health and safety? So that's a good thing. Well, that's my ikigai, one of my ikigai, because I have other ones too. I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a trainer, I'm a writer, I'm a great many things. And I have been working for 21 years for a company, a Japanese car company. So I already had taste of other cultures, which is important too. We're going to see that too. And with joining OSHAssociation was fantastic for me, because I learned so much by seeing other cultures, doing things, having relations with one another. And the relation is any relation between two persons. You can have it with your cashier at the cash register in your local store, that you have a relation with that person too. So any person you interact, that new observations that I had there made me realize things in the relationships in my environment, for example, in Belgium. So any decision, whether you are passionate about this or you say this is not my thing, any decision is a step forward. If you know it's not for you, now you know. So keep stepping, I would like to say. You see my coaching comes up here. If it would like to go forward, please. So I'm from Belgium. That's a little country in Europe, and I put a piece of Africa next to it to make sure you understand that we're a really, really small country. So we have 3 official languages, which are Dutch, Flemish, French, and German. And because of that, we have 6 different governments. Yes, can you believe it? And every citizen complies with at least 2. And there are also provincial laws, and every city also have a police law, a city law. So we have a lot of laws. We also invented French fries. It's not from France, because French is the actual cut that the potatoes are cut in. But it was invented in Liège, in Luttich. Those are the 3 languages. Then we have the best chocolates in the world, but don't ask Switzerland, because we will fight. We have football players all over the world in the biggest teams, like Mertens, De Bruyne, Hazard, and so on. You know all these people. Courtois, the keeper. And we have more than 1,700 kinds of beer, which we of course need, because we have so many governments. We have, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 ministers of health. So you can imagine, nobody knows how it works. So just to say, but also in health and safety, which is called prevention with us. I, in my profession, am a prevention advisor. So we have books, we have 10 books, we have 49 titles, including electricity, but electricity has 5 books of its own. So, and every year, of course, it's growing, because there are new inventions, and as everything has to evolve, also health and safety has to evolve, because we need health and safety for everything that is around us. As Mr. Richmond yesterday said, if you are standing in a room, there are risks, there are hazards. There is maybe a ceiling, and the walls and the floor, are they in good condition? Is the ceiling going to drop on your head? When you're standing long, you will get pains. Is the air in that room good? There are so many things. Even when you lie down, is the surface which you lie on good? If you lie in the same position, you will get pains too. So people in hospitals know this. If the person is not able to turn, they will help them turn once in a while, otherwise they get wounds from lying too long. So there is health and safety necessary for everything. Now we divide it in 7 fields to have kind of direction what well-being in the working place is: beautification, safety, hygiene, environment, ergonomics, also spoke about yesterday, health and psychosocial aspects. It's not a defined one for the global health and safety world, but it is just to make sure you can cover. It's just categorizing so you can cover all things necessary in a company, which is the thing that is typical for health and safety. Like every person working in every company, every person is unique. So every company is unique, even in the same sector. They will use different machines. They will use different procedures. So this is tailor-made stuff. You need to cover everything, so to speak, but we don't have a handbook like you need this and this and this. We can't make a list of your company, even not in your sector, because there are working people that are not typical for other companies, for example, and we're going to learn more about that also. And there are it's a different space, different environment, different climate, and so on. So it is tailor-made. There is no list, ready-made list. That's why we should be, but why we are so special, because we have to know so many things and think of so many things. And the longer you will be in this business, the more you will notice. So I have put some examples of all the fields here that we categorize in. So safety is quite understandable for everybody. Health also. Environment is not only waste management, but also is temperature and light and sound. But light, sound, for example, can also be covered by beautification. But humidity, I'm sorry, is there draft? Is it a cold temperature? Things like that. I'm sorry. So hygiene, facilities to wash your hands, to go to the toilet in a clean place, and so on. Ergonomics, as yesterday explained by Mr. Richmond, if you, and I just said, if you are sitting in a certain way at your desk, there is the best way to sit at your desk to strain your body the least. So we want our employees to be healthy for a long time. Ergonomics is one of the most important things. If people get a backache at 45, 50 years old, they cannot work to 65. I don't know how long they work in your country. In my country, it's still 65 before they can go on retirement. And that goes for everybody, woman, man, it doesn't matter. So if they develop a problem before they can go on retirement, they have to stop working, and you lose a valuable employee who already knows his job. So you will have to hire a new one, and this is one of the things you can use to convince your manager with that it's important to take care of health and safety. It's not only diseases on long term, like developing, working with cancer evoking products and so on, but also the way you use your body. You have to hire a new person to fill up for that person that can't work for you anymore or can't do the same job for you anymore. That person that had this automatism that does the job in less time than the new person that has to learn how to do the job. in that specific company. Even when it comes from a different company in the same sector, it will be different in the new company. So they will have to have adjustment time, and they will have to have a person guiding them. That's 2 persons' time you are missing. That costs money. That costs productivity. So it is important. Also, for example, on your desk, what ergonomics mean, and you will find a lot of things also in the Telegram group about that. The things you use often are closer to you than the things you use not so often. They will be further away from you on your desk, on the edge of the desk. If you only use it once a month, it will be on the edge of the desk because it saves time. If every time you have to pull your pen out from the other end of the desk, it will cost you time and it will strain your body. So it helps productivity in many, many ways. Now, I'm a big fan of making this interesting and fun. I'm a big fan of movies, so I put here next to it The Founder, which is a movie about, I forgot his first name, Koch, I think his name is the person, Rob Koch, that made McDonald's, that, well, commercialized McDonald's, because McDonald's is from the brothers McDonald's, but they didn't want to make it a chain. This person made it a chain. But in that movie, you see how the brothers McDonald's were thinking about how can we reduce costs and how can we make it fast food. They thought of this system. They invented this system. Also Ford, for example, with the conveyor belt, where the cars are coming from, that mechanism is ergonomic. It saves time. Everybody puts a piece on it and the product goes further and the next person puts another piece on it or does something to the product, and that way you can save time. So it's important. Beautification. So as I said, you spend 8 hours in your office or at your workplace. That's 1/3 a day. You want people to like to be there as an employer. So you allow them to put a photograph of their family or some personal item, or you make it in comfortable colors at the wall, or you put a plant, which is also good for your environment because you can choose plants that emit more oxygen than they emit CO2. So our air is purified. And next to it also, I put a picture of the movie 9 to 5 with the big-breasted singer, country singer, Dolly Parton, which is very old, well, quite an old movie. I don't want to insult anybody. Quite an old movie, but it is about occupational health and safety. It's about health and safety at the workplace. And also there, I remember a scene that is about beautification of the office. So, and it's a very funny movie. Psychosocial aspects, stress, burnout, still very unrecognized diseases. Sexual harassment, still a problem. I heard yesterday, no, the day before, 2 days ago, I heard that the UN currently has problems. The UN, the organization that should watch all these things, that should govern all these things, has a case of sexual harassment. And there are a lot of ladies working in the UN that say that there is a problem with sexual harassment at the UN, ladies and gentlemen. We have still a long way to go. There is still a lot to do. There is a lot of work. There are a lot of career opportunities in health and safety. Bullying, how to react if one of your customers in your store is angry at the cashier or something, or has a complaint and is very angry. How to react. A bore out, that is when you, so a burnout is when you have too much to do. A bore out is when you have not enough to do. When there is not enough challenge and you lack in motivation to do your job well, because it's not challenging enough. Team building, very important. Now, because of COVID, we stopped it, of course, but a few years ago, we started a table tennis competition in my company. We only had, at that time, one Muslim person, and he was very quiet always and didn't socialize with too many people. Until the table tennis, the ping pong competition started. And since then, he bloomed open so wonderfully. And he is so much more open to people. It's wonderful. It strengthens the team. You know, if you make the weakest link stronger, your chain will be stronger. That also goes for a company. What goes for a company also goes for a household. It goes for a country. It goes for the world. So also for those who are here from a governmental organization or the government itself, please understand, if the people that have it the hardest in your country are lifted up, the whole country will be lifted up. If people are happier in your country and safer in your country, you have a safe image also as a company, you will attract more trade, which is also for a country very important. If you have the image of, well, these people are really concerned about their citizens or their employees or their family members, people are happy. You gain trust. People are happy to do business with you. And international trade is very important for a country. So I highly advise. Presenteeism and absenteeism. So people that are not coming to work because they are feeling sick, because they are too stressed or they are being bullied. We also see that with school children. When I was young, I often heard my parents say, this child is tired of school, which actually is the same thing as a burnout. And usually there was something wrong, problem with a teacher or bullying by a classmate or something. So, or just not challenged enough or too stressed. Those are all things that make people stay home. But also presenteeism is the opposite. People are coming to work even when they are sick and they actually should stay home. And especially with COVID, that was the thing. If we're not going to the office because we might have COVID, then they are going to fire us. So, and we're going to come back later on it. This is about being a boss and being a leader, leadership. I'm a leadership coach. I called myself that. I was given the title Queen of Safety, but I call myself a leadership coach. I put leadership in everything, parenting, friendships, relationships, anything. And as you would understand, if Dr. Pierre was here to teach, and Mr. Leon can confirm, for example, because there are specialists in certification, the ISO norm always includes leadership. So this is something that is on the rise, luckily. Now, health and safety culture. The benefits of health and safety culture is a collection of thoughts. And what I just said of presenteeism and absenteeism, well, not so much absenteeism, but presenteeism, the fear of the managers firing you because you're not working, you're not producing what you should be producing because there is an unsafe situation, for example. That is a negative safety culture, for example. So a safe health and safety culture is a collection of beliefs, perceptions, values that employees and the employer share in relation to the risks within an organization, such as the workplace or a community. As I said, everything that applies to the workplace, then the company will also apply to your household. It will also apply to a country. It will also apply to the world. You work with people, and that's a big thing to realize in occupational health and safety. So 4 major characteristics of safety cultures are the positive and the negative, and then the proactive and the reactive. Positive and negative, you just understood. If it's positive, the managers will pay attention, will make sure that the employees understand that health and safety comes first, that you should take time to check everything. And as I said, I'm a big fan of documentaries and so on. Whoever said that Netflix is a waste of time, or YouTube or something, I've got another thing coming for you. I don't believe that is, I'm sorry, I'm awfully direct and brutally honest. So I sometimes use words that may shock some people. That is a load of bullshit, really. And I know that in our class is a person that is in aviation, and he especially knows that is so important to follow all these cases. And this is my guilty pleasure. I don't know where it comes from. I always had this since, I think, the movie Alive. Plane crashes. I don't know. It's not like I love them, but I love them. You know, it's terrible, but I love them. It's a guilty pleasure because you see so perfectly, and it is well organized, and every case will be researched to see what went wrong, to learn from it. So I forgot to say something, actually. We can say things like, you should watch out for this, you should follow this rule, you should follow that rule. But some people, you can say that 100 times, 1,000 times, and they will still not follow it. Now I lost my thread. So for example, I've got too many thoughts in my mind. There are too many things I want to tell you. So for example, if the iron, which your mother irons the clothes with, I remember my mother, she told me 1,000 times, watch out for the iron because you're going to burn yourself. I still burn myself. My brother still burned himself, even though my mother said it to him too. And that's why when it hits you that, you know, okay, watch out for the iron because it's really hot, you can burn yourself. Some people will never learn because they have a different focus in health and safety. So it is still important to repeat and repeat and repeat. And as I said in the beginning, if we say, if you make too much background noise, I'm so sorry for Mr. Eric because he's falling in and out of class. If we say, if you make too much background noise, we will kick you out of the class and you will be in the waiting room. That is one of the measures, one of the 3 ways that people learn. There are 3 ways, and this is valuable. People, write it down, please. There are 3 ways to teach people. And one we all know, because every school, almost every school applies it. That's repetition. Repetition is key in teaching people. If you keep repeating the same exercise, it will go into your unconscious brain, as we call it, which is 93% of your brain, actually, your automatic brain, not unconscious, subconscious, I'm sorry. Another way to get it in your subconscious brain is admiration. If you admire somebody, and this has to do with leadership, and I will explain that later, then you will want to do what they do. And because you admire them so much, you develop new habits that resemble that person that you admire so much. And that is another way and that is another way of learning. A third way of learning is shock. I love shock. Shock if, for example, and this can go different ways. That's why I give this example. They broke into the house of my colleague. And at that time, it was 3 at night, so 3 a.m. Every night since then, she wakes up at 3 a.m. at night. So that is how people get something in their focus, in their, well, habits. So that's important to know. Now I forgot what I was saying, actually, where I was going to. But anyways, this is an important thing. So you've got a negative and a reactive safety culture. And I'm sorry, a reactive and proactive safety culture. So reactive is obvious. If there is an incident or an accident that has happened in the past, then you can take measures afterwards. We try to be proactive, to prevent any incidents or accidents from happening before it happens. Now I remember what I was going to. So you can tell some people, for example, if you like a clean house, I have hampers, laundry baskets in every room, in every sleeping room, and every bedroom it's in English, and also in the bathroom. I have 2 people in the house who don't care. They just keep dropping it next to it. And you can tell them 1,000 times, please put it in the hamper, put it in the laundry basket. And they will still not do it, no matter how long you say that or how angry you get. You will still have to do it yourself if you want it to happen, because it's not of their focus. And they will never learn because it's just not important to them. If the laundry is next to the basket, it doesn't change their life. It doesn't change anything on their life. And the reason is because everybody has a certain focus. And that focus may not be what your focus is. Probably not, because everybody is extremely unique. Everybody has a background, education, upbringing, and so on and so on. Character, friends, the environment, the parents, the grandparents, the religion, the language, the country you live in. It all makes who you are. You are a collection. You are a unique combination of things. There is nobody like you on this planet, and there has never walked a person exactly like you on this planet, and there never will be. So you've got a unique value to offer. That is why I always say we can learn so much from you, because you're unique. You have a unique perspective on the world. You have a unique focus that nobody else can teach us. So make sure you understand that you have value. And I will come back to that later too. So it's very important to have these in place. And that is why I said, yes, we can mute people. But if they don't, that's a measure we can use when the first measure, telling people to mute themselves, is not working. Even when you give them a reason, because reason is very important for people. If you can touch them in a certain way that they can understand why it is important for them, then they will accept it and they will follow it. So I know I'm going all sideways and so on, but it follows. Oh, you will see it return in the presentation. So we love being proactive and positive. That is the thing. But I hope you understand what health and safety culture is involved. Okay. So yeah, I explained that already. I'm sorry. So there are 7 main characteristics for positive safety culture. That's the atmosphere, role of supervision, involvement, dynamics, communication, leadership, and positive approach. And the 3 key factors in that is communication. If there is something where it always goes wrong, it's communication. And the reason is that we are all different, as I explained. We are all unique with a unique focus and a unique perspective. So it may be that if you explain something in a way that you understand, it may not be perceived by the other person as a reasonable thing. That's why I always tell my colleagues, stop calling people, stop saying that there are stupid people and stupid mistakes. No, they just have their own unique view on the world. So it's a misunderstanding. Responsibility and proactiveness, as I explained. So the atmosphere, most of the time, this is a belief system. As I said, I work in a Japanese company, and I must say my managers are generally the directors and so on. The top management is really considerate. If you have a problem, then they say, yeah, okay, good, take the day off and take care of yourself too. If there, for example, is a child ill. And I have a colleague, well, she left the company now. I had a colleague, and at a certain moment, she has 2 daughters, and one daughter was sick. And she got a doctor's note to justify that she had to be home to take care of her daughter. And the next week, the other daughter gets sick. And she was so fearful, she came to work, the presenteeism. She came to work because she thought, I have a note from the doctor again, but I can't do this. You know, they're going to fire me. I said, no, they're not going to fire you. They are going to say, fine, go home, take care of your daughter, and please take care of yourself. But as long as she believes that, there is not much you can do except for trying to come to this positive repetition. You know, it's important for us that you're healthy because then you're more productive. It's important for the company. The company is nothing without its employees. And leaders understand that, bosses not so much. Role of supervision. All personnel share the same responsibility for health and safety at work. Everyone, from the cleaning lady to the top boss, is responsible for health and safety. If you see somebody doing an unsafe act, willingly or unwillingly, speak up. And this is why I want to congratulate Miss Amma on being so brave to speak up yesterday. That's a very good thing to do. But sometimes you need to, especially as health and safety managers, health and safety professionals, you have to do it in a way that, yeah, I'll explain that later, but that people accept that. So that takes a lot of skills in communication. So let's say your neighbor you see your neighbor, you're at the workstation, and the workstation next to you, there is a colleague, and he or she is doing something that is not so safe. Do you step in, and why do you step in? First of all, you have to live with, if that person dies, you have to live with the guilt of not saying anything. If I had only said something, or they lose a hand, that's worse enough and that's bad enough. I should have said something. Why didn't I say something? It's important that you feel good about that. If you don't say anything and you have seen an accident coming and the accident happens, the guilt will eat you. Next to that, if that person has an accident and something from their workstation, jumps, shoots at your workstation, you can get injured as well. If that person's computer explodes, you will be hit as well. I remember from my chemical lessons that if something explodes, it's best to be really close, within 2 meters from it, because otherwise you'll get a debris. But of course, different substances will get different effects. So we need to make the people aware that they should mention it. If they can't talk to the manager, that they talk to the manager above that, or a colleague manager, something like that, or the big boss. If you have a problem with the big boss, maybe you can talk to somebody in the company that is appointed as the person, the go-to person, the confidential person, the confidant. Some companies have that, which enables, or even a box, an idea box. Don't call it a complaint box, because you will attract complaints and no solutions. Some kind of an idea box or a binder where somebody can write something down anonymously, so they don't have to gather that courage to speak up necessarily. That can teach you about things also. That can increase your production also. I hope you understand what I'm getting all at. I'm trying to make sure you understand there are ways to get your management to become interested in health and safety. So the hierarchic line in business supervision is from the top to the bottom, but in safety supervision, it goes all sides, all directions. Now, as you can see, I've put some employees at the bottom, and then some team leaders, and then managers, and then the top management. Now, if one of those employees becomes a team leader, this is just to show you how sometimes things you may not think of will fill your list of things to do as a health and safety professional. If one of those employees becomes a team leader, he becomes a person that was good at his job, at doing his job, and you now put him in a position where he manages people that are doing the job, which is complete, I'm sorry, that's not, okay, I put that somewhere else, I guess, which is a completely different job as he was doing before. Before he was good at managing his job, now he becomes a person that manages persons to do a job. Therefore, he needs education. So that is something for on your list for the training. So involvement. If people think, well, if people have the feeling that you care about them, that you care about their life, because that's what their health and safety, and you explain it to them, you know, we think it's important, you are 100% because it's important for the company. We don't want to lose you. You're a good employee. Again, positive. You're a good employee. Then they will feel like, oh my God, they really care about me. They really want me to be safe and healthy. So I sympathize with them. I mean, I like those people I work for. They really care about me, and that I get safe to my family, and that I am happy coming to work. It's a nice place to work. Then they will give much more of their energy to the company. So I'm going to give well, maybe an extreme example, but I don't think it's so extreme again. I will give an extreme example later. I will give the more and more common example. There are companies that give the employees some bonds, and it used to be more common in our countries than it is today, I think. Some share, for example, would it be nowadays? Shares in the company. So which would, even if it's one share, it would make them also owner of the company and would involve them much more in how the company performs. I'm just giving an example. I don't remember which company exactly it is. I think it is Google, where the employees can choose. It could be another one, but I think it's Google, where the employees can choose how much they earn a month, how much holiday they take, when they work from home, where they work. They decide everything. They have that freedom. And this company works. That's a very radical thing. That's a very extreme case. But it works because they are involved. It makes them part of the family, you know? So you need to become a polyglot. Polyglot means that you speak many, many languages. Poly is a lot, more, and the glot is to do with language. So you become a polyglot. You don't only have to understand the law texts that you will have to make rules in, and the law texts are not only your country's law text, it's also your company's rules, it's the ILO, where I made a remark of, the International Labor Organization, yeah, all these laws, you have to translate in a way that people understand it. And as I said, you need to be able to talk to a person that works at bookkeeping, a person that works at bookkeeping, accounting, an accountant, or a computer person will be more, even one of the top managers, for example, they will understand more with figures, for example. But the cleaning lady or the cleaning man, which I must say, in my experience, cleaning men clean better than cleaning ladies. They have a different way of understanding, or a welder, for example. So you have to explain them in a different way. If you make a rule, it needs to be complete, it needs to be understandable to everybody, and it needs to be as short as possible, because people don't read anymore. You know, I love books, but I don't read paper books anymore. I listen to audiobooks because it saves me time. I still read books, a lot of books, but I don't waste time reading it anymore. So this can be a hint for you. Instructional video, a message, a sound message. But is there in your company, for example, a person that is deaf? You cannot use the sound or the video. You need some material that they can read. Is a person blind? For example, a call center can easily hire somebody that is blind. They need a different way of communication also than a person that can see. I have a cleaning man who is illiterate. I cannot just write something down for him. I cannot write him a note. I have to call him, or I can take photographs of what he has to do and explaining visually. And visually actually works for almost everybody. If I say tree, you don't think about the word tree. You think about an actual tree. And for some people, it may be a mango tree. And for other people, it may be a palm tree. And for another person, it may be, I don't know, an oak tree or a pine, but it will be a tree that you are thinking about. You're not thinking, when somebody says tree, about the word tree. So I hope I have proven that to you now. Dynamics, health and safety should constantly be improved, especially when you go after certifications. Now, certifications are extras to up your, well, they are very important. I wish that they would be obligatory because they are very important, but they are an extra thing you do for your company to up your image. The law is free because you have to abide it. You are obliged to follow it. That is why law is a free thing. Certificates are not free, but can help your company's image, especially in health and safety, as I explained, to attract more contracts, more business deals, better employees, higher schooled employees, more experienced employees that want to work for your company because you care about health and safety. So dynamics, as said, you should communicate also in a relationship at home with your wife or your husband. You should communicate your children, your family, your parents, your dog. You communicate with them in different ways. Information, education, trust and accountability, involvement. Ask the person that is working at the station if you do you think there is something that can be improved concerning production or concerning health and safety, or is there something that would make your job easier? You can consult your employees. Your employees are your first source to make adjustments that are improving the company's performance. Proactive practices, as said, like questionnaires. So asking the person, asking your employees, are you happy? Do you have a problem with somebody? Is there, do you feel that the team is a good one? Is there a good vibe in the team, or is there a problem with somebody? Do you have a problem with somebody? That's, for example, questions. Do you have much stress? Those are questions you ask when you do research about psychosocial aspects, for example. Ali, it won't go again. Why not? I've got a stubborn PowerPoint. So dynamic risk management system, it's not only in health and safety, applied in health and safety, it's in the whole business world, and hopefully also in your household and in your country, and so on and so on. Act, plan, do, check. Act, plan, do, check. Always this circle. And the standard has to be raised constantly. Especially when you go for a certificate, the standard has to be raised. Otherwise, you don't deserve the certification. But it should be something that is, well, it should be present in every company. Communication. So, as you can see by my diagram, there is only 7% spoken words. There is 38% that is concerning voice and tone, and 55% is body language. So we don't communicate a lot with our mouth or our writing. we communicate how we say things, for example. And a good example is, there are mostly men in this class. I'm going to reveal something. Biologically seen, man cannot hear higher tones. So this is just a scientific fact. Huh? I'm not trying to insult somebody. I'm trying to make the world a better place for everybody. So if your wife goes like, high tone, but you never listen to me, man cannot hear that. So try to explain to your wife, please, or for the women in this class, please, if you're talking to a man, he can biologically not hear it when he cannot understand you when you're talking at a high-pitched voice. Talk in a low, calm voice, and he will be much more listening to you. And listen is not follow commands, listening to what you have to say and be more open to consider it. And I'm sorry, again, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but the same goes for dogs. If you give a dog a command, you do it in a low voice, short message, and in a calm voice. So that, for example, is a tip. Body language. If somebody has their arms crossed in front of their chest, they are defending themselves, or maybe it's really cold. That's another situation. But if it's not cold and people have their arms crossed in front of their chest, they're not open to you. If they are, for example, if you notice that they are looking at your two eyes and your mouth, that triangle alternate, watching your mouth and then your one eye and then your other eye and make a combination of that, they trust you. If their feet are standing in your direction, they are open to you. So these are just a few things. You can even know when a person is lying. We have a whole presentation about rapport also. Okay. Thank you for the interlude. Can you mute yourself? Thank you. Okay. But that was nice. So another way, why not sing it? People get happy when you sing and dance. Well, don't do it in the morning because some people don't like it in the morning. But you can do that sometimes. It makes people happy. It makes people smile. What was I going to? So there is a Telegram presentation on rapport. This is also applied in business transaction, business world. If a person you are talking to, you normally open with asking about their family and so on. And next time you see them, you can ask them about the things that are important to you, to them. How do you know that things are important to that person? You can also use it in health and safety, because when people know that they care about you, they will be much more willing to do things for you than they will feel obliged to do something to you for you. So how do you know if something is important? Their eyebrows will be raised. If they are talking about their children, and, oh yeah, Jack and Jill, and they will raise their eyebrows and they will raise their voice. For example, if you ask somebody about their hobbies, yeah, I play golf. Their eyebrows will go up and their voice will be raised. What's your favorite football team? It's Chelsea. You understand what I'm talking about. There is a lot to know about communication. It's not only by our words that we communicate. Yeah, the tone of your voice, I explained, of course. If you say something like, do this, it's a different thing than would you please do this? That's a different tone of voice. And some tones will be not so welcome as other tones of voice. I'm just going to check the hour. Okay, I have still 15 minutes. Okay, too much information will become a conspiracy theory. So then you need to give people information. But as I said, they need to be not too extended. I'm sorry, I'm giving you a lot, which will make it a conspiracy theory maybe for some people, but you're always welcome to return. Know that information that you get in the class will be extra information on top of what you need to learn for the exams. Leadership. Lead by example. As I said, admiration is one of the ways that we change habits. If we have a person in the office who is always happy and always asking about how are you doing and did you have a nice holiday, for example, if you had a vacation, or did you have a great weekend and you're looking good and your hair is so great today or something, you will be very open to that person. I'm very happy to see that person and do something for that person. But if you, as a health and safety manager, are not safe and go, for example, on construction site without your hard hat, although it's a rule, they will not respect it. They will say, why would I wear it if even our health and safety inspector, our health and safety professional doesn't wear the hard hat? What's the use? I don't believe it. So lead by example. Manage yourself first. And it's a hard thing to do, but it's a necessary thing to do. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because we're only human. And you know, those people who are perfect, what do you think in the back of your head about them? They're not real. They're lying about something. So don't try to be perfect. It's okay to make a mistake now and then, but try to do your best. Again, if you're not doing your best, you're not giving 100%. Encourage development. I want to teach you something about leadership, because I'm a woman, and when they asked me in my company, would you please be the prevention advisor? I was like, yeah, good, but how are people going to listen to me? Because I'm a woman, and even in Europe, where it's supposed to be equal, it's not equal, not anywhere in the world. We have millenniums of role patterns, gender patterns in our genetics. It's not solved yet. We don't see a woman as the same as a man, and that's so with women, that's so with men. In both sides we have a problem. We should learn to let differences go. It's the same also with racism and so on. We label people, and our labels limit us. So anyways, I'm a woman, so how am I going to make all these guys listen to me? Because yeah, I'm a woman who's going to listen to me. I don't have any function that has authority. Who's going to listen to me? I don't have something to make them. I can make them do things. So I'm not a boss either. I cannot fire anybody or something. How do I become a leader? And it was my challenge to search for, how do I become a leader? How do I get people to listen to me? And I went on a search, and everything I found was how to be a leader instead of a boss, which was terrible, because there was no information out there about people who weren't in an authority function with authority to be a leader. Now I've got news for you, because this is what I discovered. Leadership has nothing to do with power. Leadership has to do with inspiration. So lead by example, as I said. If you are admired or are respected for something, like Nelson Mandela, for example, we all admire him and respect him. We want to maybe not be like him, but be more like him, be a better person. So we will change our behavior. And that is what you want to establish. Be an inspiration to people. Be an inspiration by giving the good example. You are a role model for health and safety. You should try to do the right thing. I'm going to let our princess in. Well, one of our princesses. Value all links in the chain. Everybody is important. A company, if one link is missing, the chain is broken. Huh? And we saw this in COVID too. We all want our kids to be doctors and lawyers. It's the same everywhere in the world, this story. But you know who turned out to be important, except for doctors? Health and safety professionals and people who produce food, like farmers, and the people who brought the food to the stores, and the people who in the stores who put the food in the racks, and the people at the cashier that had to work all throughout COVID without failing to get the food to be healthy. Because what do you do when you face something like COVID? You hold your immune system up. And what do you do when you want to hold your immune system up? You eat healthy, you drink enough water. So again, persons, we need people for that. And it's not the doctor that provides us with water. We make sure we sleep enough, and we exercise, and we relax enough. We find the balance, spend time with our family, because we do not live to work, we work to live. Again, an important thing for health and safety. So you should see the big picture. Everybody is important. And for example, if you have a problem with and Mr. Rualaka also has a good story about that, about giving a person which is, well, I don't want to use the word difficult, but challenging, maybe challenging employee, give him. My mother was a teacher, and when she had a challenging student, she would give him responsibility, and by giving that child a responsibility, he calmed down. So that also, for example, is a good way to make that person be re-established in his value. There is a person, Noura, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you. Okay, good. So fear is a bad leader. That belongs to being a boss, as I explained earlier. Be accessible. If somebody comes to tell you something, don't just burst out and you are an idiot and I don't know. We're going to see later more about that later. Listen to that person and go find the root of the problem, and don't stop when you find one cause, because most accidents or incidents or threats, hazards, don't have just one cause. It's more causes. If there is an accident, there is rarely only one cause. It's somebody ran into a door because he was distracted by a phone, because somebody called him, because the door was not, there was nothing indicated in front of the door. There is information in the Telegram group recently about traffic and the adjustment. The adjustments that some places already made because people are watching their phone. So there is always more than one cause. Well, almost always. It's very, very rare that there is only one cause. Unfortunately, sometimes accidents must happen because we didn't see what we needed to see to be proactive, and then we have to be reactive, of course. Unfortunately, that is just the way we learn sometimes. Of course, if in another company, we're going to learn about those things later. If in another company there has been an accident, you also know it could happen in your company, so you can be proactive by companies that weren't proactive first. Listen more and observe more. So be accessible, listen to the person, see what is going on in your company, see if you can spot a new hazard, because you're working with people. So people are the most important assets for your company. And sometimes there are people that don't really work well together. So you may have to separate them, for example. The results are team efforts. Know your employees, so put the right person for the right job. If there is a person very good in making PPP presentations, use him for that. If there is somebody who is really good in speaking, use them for that. That is a great team to make a presentation for a client. Just an example. Inspire and so, for example, if you need a confidant, a person that people can go to if they are not feeling well, if they have a problem, choose the right person for that. And by choosing the right person for that, the whole team will benefit for it, because everybody will feel better, will feel like the machine is rolling like a very well-oiled machine, a safe machine. Inspire and motivate, as I say, as I said, be inspirational to your employees. That you also do by giving them compliments or giving them feedback anyway. Compliments are not the only positive feedback that you can give. There is a presentation about feedback on the Telegram group. As I said, that is already a very big data bank where you can increase your knowledge, increase your skills. Communicate clear and regularly, the repetition, and through several channels, because some people may be dyslexic. Dyslexic. I think I am too dyslexic and don't understand many words. So therefore, this is not only a paper presentation, this is also a spoken presentation, because that's for most people, especially in this time where everything has to go quickly and easily, is a better option. Thank you, Peace. I don't know if anybody can see my messages. But okay, so this is a photograph that says it all, actually. That sums it up. Now, this is something, and this may again be something disruptive. I always say that inspiration and manipulation to me are the same thing, but the goal is different. Manipulation, you want to have the advantage on other people, no matter whether they get advantage, get better of it too or not. It doesn't matter. You are only focused on your improvement. If you are a leader and inspired, you manipulate. That is, for me, the definition of inspiration. You manipulate to get a better result for others. And eventually, if you improve others' lives, you improve your own life. You improve your own world. If you are, because a leader, as I said, we all love Madiba. I don't know Madiba. I didn't know Madiba. He didn't have connection to me. We never spoke. I never spoke to Nelson Mandela. I heard about him. He's my big hero. He inspired me. He didn't know he inspired me when I was 10 years old, and I'm now 46. So I know him for a long time, but he doesn't know me. So, but he still inspired me. And it was not his intention to manipulate me, to inspire me, but he did that for the greater good, because he understood something that some people weren't ready to understand yet. Just to give you, this is about the new function. If you are promoting staff to an employee to team leader, or a team leader, well, then the job becomes a different one. So leadership again, go to the work site. The greatest stories I heard when I was younger were those stories about, my boss used to be on doing my job, and he understands what I'm doing here, and he is a great boss. Or like, I know Richard Branson. This is another man I admire because he's so unique, so daring, so versatile. He will also go to the workplace and be involved and do the things that his employees do to understand what they are actually doing. That makes you a great leader. That doesn't make you just a boss. It makes you a leader. So I already told you this, talk to your workers. There are a source of information about for improving the performance of your company, and health and safety is very important. So also for health and safety, take them seriously, and don't make promises you cannot keep. I don't know if you ever had a parent, because but I think a lot of us had, that made a promise: if you get good grades in school, I will get you that. And finally, you got okay grades, but not good enough apparently to get you the stuff. Did you as a teenager respect that, or as a child respect that? You got angry at that person, and he couldn't get you to do anything. There is a lot of what we did, how we see children react. Actually, as adults, we still have an inner child that reacts the same. We only compose ourselves in a different way than we did when we were a child. To me, it's very important to listen to children, because they're not influenced yet by all the lies and theater acting that we do as an adult. They tell the truth as they see it. So I really like listening to kids because of their pure view. So I never told my son, you should shut up when the adults are talking, when the big people are talking. I hated that sentence when I was young, because I knew I had something valuable to say. Okay, yeah, you need to be present on a working floor, right? It's part of accessibility. Yeah? People need to see you. People need to make sure you are there. Otherwise, they're, oh, that person from health and safety is never there. So it doesn't really matter whether I wear these gloves or this hard hat, or I did my hair yesterday. I don't want to ruin it with a hard hat. So again, focus is different. Some people want to be focused on appearance because they went to the hairdresser yesterday and my hair is just done. I'm not putting a hard hat on it because they don't think they're not focused on health and safety. It's a possibility. Therefore, we need to be aware. Everybody needs to be aware of his environment. Everybody needs to look after his brother and sister, and so we can all make it safely home to our family, like Mr. Richmond yesterday said so lovely. And you need to step out. You need to be able to say something, and you need to be able to say something in a positive way, you know, and try to make them grow. Try to involve them in looking for a solution. Don't just suggest a solution. Ask the people, you know, I wonder what you would do. That involves them. And if that is a good solution, you can apply it for health and safety or for performance production, anything. Also in your household, also in your country, in your community, in your street, in your neighborhood, in the world. If it's a good solution, we apply it. And that person will be so proud, he will do even harder his best in your company. Don't use words like stupid, useless, idiot, and so on. You will never do anything right. You will never achieve anything. Anybody that said anything to you like that, you will not do anything for them because you won't respect them anymore. Calling somebody stupid, useless, and idiot, it's done. Communication is over. Ears are shut down. Nobody is listening to you anymore. From the moment that word falls, nobody will listen to you anymore. Especially not the person you were calling that names. Ask instead of insinuating. You are not listening to me. I don't know if you understand me. That's a different way of approaching. I would like you to understand me. So could you tell me whether you understand what I'm saying, or should I explain in a different way? As said, if you talk to an accountant, they will understand statistics. If you talk to a cleaning lady, she will not understand statistics. That's numbers. She probably doesn't understand numbers. Talk to her in terms of I don't know, makeup or cooking, or if you talk to a man, talk to them in. I talk a lot of car. I explain a lot with cars because I'm working in cars, and if it's a man, a lot of times they know something about cars. This is something else. Miss Amma is the only woman in our class, I think, if I'm correct. Women have an advantage being a health and safety manager, a health and safety professional, because we were trained because of those 1,000 years old gender patterns. We are trained to make sure that everybody in our neighborhood, in our house, in our family is safe and has everything to be comfortable and has everything set up for their most productive thing, are supported, and so on. Now, men also have an advantage. Men are usually in that gender pattern world involved in being explained technical things, mathematics, and statistics. That's usually something that we teach our. This is thing. We still do that. We will teach our sons that, and we will teach our daughters different things. Again, that labeling, we should try to get rid of it. So we all have our advantages to come to health and safety, because we need all those skills. And actually, I was thinking last week, you know, in the Bible, Eve was created from, they took a rib of Adam to create Eve. And Eve was created to help Adam, which is normal because without that rib, missing, he couldn't walk straight anymore. We need one another. We are one. And I always say, you know, a lot of times I've got the impression that women have a very broad side of different fields. They can see a lot of fields, but men have the depth. If we could create this super brain where we can fuse typical, I'm always speaking in averages, typical male thinking, the vertical brain, as I say, because they go into depth, and the horizontal brain of a woman because they see the broader picture, then we would have the perfect mind. So we all need one another to grow and to come to better solutions and so on. That's, by the way, what we do with the Telegram forum. So high emotions. If you're feeling angry or annoyed or irritated or sad or disappointed in somebody, take a pause. Don't immediately react. It's a bad state to communicate because it's a bad state to make decisions. Even if you are super happy or enthusiastic, try to wait to take decisions until you are on a neutral level. Because, and I say excited and enthusiast also, because somebody can tell you about the newest investment and you are so excited that you give that person all your money and he invested, and you lose all your money a few weeks later because you took a decision in a high emotion, even though that emotion was very positive. Make sure everybody, whether you like them or not, needs to win your trust, because you're worth the effort of winning your trust. Especially watch out with people you immediately like, because if they have intense, and I don't call anybody evil or evil. I don't believe that anybody is evil. People are misled and on the wrong path and they make mistakes. Nobody's evil. But if a person that is in that state comes on your path and you like him very much, they can drag you down in their deviation of a righteous path. So make sure that you take a pause until you're on a neutral emotion. Now, if another person is angry or scared or upset, tell them breathe. Never tell a person calm down. I know in Africa it's done so much. Calm down, miss, calm down. You know, if a person is actually calm and you tell them calm down now, they will not be calmed down. They are already calm. They will get upset if you go on like calm down. It's provocative. So practice pause and do not take things personal. It has nothing to do with you. Even what somebody thinks of you has nothing to do with you. It isn't about you. It's about that person's feeling. It's about that person's emotion. It's about that person's perspective. That person who is extremely unique, who is a very, very different person from you, who is extremely unique. So don't take things personal. It is their opinion. Their means outside you. Leave things that are outside you. Don't let them in. Encouragement works better than punishment, but because you can give a reward to people that are healthy and safe at the working place, for example. Let's just say the simplest thing. You put a picture on the wall. This is the employee, safest employee of the month. Now, if that is 3 months in a row, the same person, the other persons are going to say, no, it's always the same person. Eh? It's Africa's favorite word, nepotism. It's nepotism. Eh? It's no use to try and be safe and healthy because it's always the same person that wins. So that can work against you too. Think about those things. Otherwise, we will have incidents and accidents. When you see somebody, and this is something I love, I read that somewhere sometime a long time ago. When you see somebody doing something good, pay them a compliment. When you see somebody struggle, help them. Don't make fun of them, help them. Or at least ask, do you need any help? Is there something I can do? If somebody makes a mistake, they're usually, and you know yourself and you know other people. We are extremely unique, but we're still human. And there should be room and for the wisdom of being a human being. You know yourself. If you make a mistake, who is punishing you the hardest? That's you. You don't need anybody else to tell you you made a mistake. You are already punishing yourself with guilt and bad feelings and so on. Now, correction is something different from punishment. You can tell them, you know, it's okay. You cannot change it anymore. It's in the past. Here's my coaching again. Huh? It's in the past. You cannot change it. You cannot go back into time. We don't have that power. We're not in that dimension that we can go back into time to change the past. So there is room to feel sad or disappointed in yourself, but you have to move on from there and do better in the future. Now, go to that person and comfort them. You know, it's okay. You cannot help it. We are going to make this better. Help me make it better. What do you think we can do to make things better? Also, when it concerns health and safety, somebody who's stressed, who made a mistake because he was stressed or she was stressed. What's going on in their lives? Is there something in your private life? Because people don't leave emotions at home or at the door when they come to work. They take their emotions with them. Again, involvement, the feeling, well, knowing that the company cares for them. Of course, the company should care for them. Without the employees, the company doesn't exist. So if you say something, this is the rule, apply it always, no exceptions. I'm sorry. Like in a court, there can be circumstances that make it that you should get a lighter punishment, for example. That is a possibility. But the law applies the same with the rules in the company. And it should be applied every time for any function. If the rule is wear a hard hat when you enter a construction site and the top manager comes, he also needs to wear a hard hat. Health and safety professional needs to wear a hard hat. Again, you don't win any respect by, yeah, I'm saying this thing, we all die the same, eh? What I said in the beginning of this session, we all die the same. There is nothing you can take from, there is no function or anything. That is the fairest concept in the whole universe I can think of. It's the same for everybody. And we were all born naked. So we're all the same. There are nobody's more or less than anybody else. No matter what their labels are. So I put this performance indicators. We have training indicators, which are reactive. So we are going to look to the past to take measures for the future. These are examples of training indicators. You can have quantitative, that's a number, and you can have qualitative indicators. So you can have a number of near misses of incidents, for example. An accident is where somebody got harmed. An incident includes also near misses. So accidents and near misses. That's always an incident. It's something that happens. It's an occurrence. Qualitative indicators, very good, severe, as the example says. We measure, whether it's a quantitative or a qualitative indicator, this whole world is measured. There are standards for everything, and there should be standards in the company too. And you should try to, again, improve those standards, also for health and safety. So you need to understand graphics and statistics and so on. You have to be able to make analyses. Oh my God, I only have 15 minutes. So we're going to go, sometimes that is, well, that is a figure. But, you know, the number pi, for example, is 4.13. But it depends, because if pi is an unending number, so I don't remember exactly what follows, but 4.131 is also pi, and I think that that is 4.1315, if I remember correctly, is also pi. So it's not all exact. There are no exact sciences, and there is more than one good answer. So look for a solution. There is always a solution. There is more than one solution. The other one is leading indicators. We're going to go proactive again, because we want to prevent that accidents and incidents happen. There is more information about leading indicators. So, for example, you are going to buy a new, a new machine. I'm going back. A new machine. How is that machine performing? What are the reviews for that machine? Are there any problems reported? Are there any recalls on that machine? In that way, you can already predict what problems will occur when you are buying that machine, and you can take proactive measures. So the benefits of a good health and safety culture are that people like to come to work. So they will come happy to work. They will be more productive, as said. They will, you will have a better recruitment and retention. So you will have people coming to apply for a job that have higher education. It's not just anybody that comes applying, because you've got that good image of having a good health and safety culture, and it's fun to work with because the people that work there say, yeah, this company really cares about us. So people will be interested to come work there. You will have a better choice of employees. You will not have so much damage and compensation and so on. You will have that safe reputation, that image. You will attract business partners that you would not have dreamed of before. as I love Nigeria, by the way. That's my confession for today. But Nigeria doesn't have a safe image for European countries. When I left for Nigeria the first time, they were going like, "Else, what are you doing? Not to Nigeria, one of the unsafest countries of the world, of Africa, and you're going there. You will never return." That was how my environment reacted. I know better, of course, otherwise I wouldn't have gone. But if they have a safer reputation, which is not only the government's job, I want to state this. Change happens slowly, and I've been watching Nigeria, for example, for 4 years already, and I've seen many changes, but the public doesn't focus on those changes. They are just complaining that the government doesn't do anything instead of going to look for the facts and making their own life better, because it's easier to blame somebody else for your situation than going to make the effort themselves. So it's not only typical Nigerian, there are other countries too. I know many Africans meanwhile, and many people all over the world, because in the end, we're human, and humans go by the economical principle to get as much as possible with the least of effort. It's everywhere the same. So people coming up to me, "Yeah, don't you have some money for me, because I didn't have anything to eat." I said, "But why didn't you go out and try to look for somebody that needs some help washing the windows? You just ring the bell, lady, your windows are dirty. Can I wash them for some rice or a slice of bread?" And you would have eaten. "Ah, but it's 9 o'clock. Yeah, what have you been doing all day?" "Yeah, begging." Yeah, that's no solution. You don't wait for the government. The government is doing things. You do things yourself too. If you wait for the government, you're wasting your precious time. You're not living your best life, expecting somebody else to live your dreams, to make your dreams happen. So this is just a general thing for people to think. This is also the reason why people aren't looking out for their health and safety. We need to explain them that you are replaceable as a spouse, you are replaceable as a parent, you are replaceable as an employee. The only one you are not replaceable for is you. If you're dead, you cannot replace yourself. So that is why safety and health is so important for every person individually. Your children can find a new mom or dad. Your spouse can remarry. So it's important to them personally, and we need to tell them, we need to make them aware. Better productivity, that's the other side, We don't only need to make the top management aware, but also the workers themselves. Why should I be safe? Why should I wear the hard helmet? And as I said, visual is very important. I had this friend, and he's working in a factory. And they had a visit of this person, and this person is going from factory to factory. He lost his arm in a machine. And instead of telling people, you can't wear bracelets or watches, or you cannot let your hair loose, or you cannot wear loose clothing at a machine, invite a person who lost his arm because he didn't follow the rules. This person was going from factory to factory to tell them, I didn't follow the rules. Look, my arm is gone. This is the consequence of not following the rule. And that friend told me, that was so impressive, because it's right in front of you. It's not just something somebody says. The person was right in front of them without that arm. So again, shock. That is shocking. People learn from shock. So better productivity and efficiency, as I said, ergonomics, less accidents, less waste of time, because when there is an accident, machine have to be stopped, investigation has to happen, it all costs time, and time is productivity, it costs money. So you cannot pay the workers. The workers should also understand this is my work ethic. If the company should understand, without the employees, there is no company. The employees should understand, if the company doesn't perform, next month, I don't know if I will have a job. So I better give it 100%. Those are the two sides that we need to get together. But if they think, well, if they feel, because we do care about them, that they are cared about and that they are comfortable and they love to go to work, they will willingly, not because they have to, they will not drag themselves to work just to spend 8 hours looking at the clock from when is it time to go. Still 3 hours. Still 2.5 hours. No, they will be up and happy, and they will give 100%. You cannot give more than 100%. So, but a happy worker is a good worker. I'm going to skip. You can read because I'm again short of time. I'm going back instead of hierarchy of controls will come across the sessions a lot of times. But what you need to know about the hierarchy of controls is that elimination is 100% effective, but is the least applicable. PPE, so personal protective equipment, is the least effective, but the most applicable, because you ask the person to wear them. It's a personal protective equipment. If that person is not willing to wear it, it is not effective. That is why it's less effective, least effective, and most applicable. But we start from elimination and we go down to substitution. Engineering controls, we also call it collective protective equipment. So that is a change to the room, for example. Then administrative controls, and then personal protective equipment, which is where the goodwill of the employees is of the essence. I'm sorry, I don't know why it doesn't go forward. This is an example because you need a lot of examples to understand this. We in our experience, a lot of people have a problem with understanding it. So we give some examples about it. I only have 2 minutes anymore. I'm not going to make it, people. So I'm going to leave this for you to read. You will get a lot of information. Ask help. You are only human. You have a skull and your brain cannot be extended because that skull is not elastic. So you have a lot of knowledge, but you ask specialists for help and you do your research. That's why I say Wikipedia, Wikipedia. Ask for help. You're not alone. And especially in an organization, if you become a member of an association, you have access to so many specialists. You don't go to the butcher if you want to sell your watch. If you don't ask the butcher, or I don't know, the pub owner, what would you sell my watch for? What is the amount I can get for this watch? You go to a jeweler with your watch to ask what the value is. So make sure you have the right specialists and do your research. These are some fields. I added this because this is this can help you set up your rules in your companies if you still have to begin, or you can check. Of course, this is not a defined list. There are many, many more items you should check. You can check. As said, it is tailor-made work. Health and safety is tailor-made work because every company is unique. I know. I didn't get through it. So health and safety reports, very important. Administration is very important because you need to protect yourself, you need to protect your employees. Health and safety falls under criminal law. That means that you can get fines and you can get jail sentence. And jail sentence most of the time will be for the top manager, for the employees, for the representatives of the company. I know, Leon, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, please, a minute. If you have a concluding statement to offer, or since they are going to have the presentation, or some of them have the presentation with them, so can you quickly go to a conclusion so that we can set people free because they have other commitments, knowing that they have the presentation with them, please. Thanks.
Yes, I'm very sorry. I think I will leave it for this, to this. I invite you to watch this is maybe, yeah, I covered a lot of things already. Yeah? I invite you to look at it, and I will always be around normally to answer your questions also in other presentation. Yeah, this is maybe averages are to be taken as an average, is just an average, is not a representation of the reality at a certain moment in time. Of course, some of you know that, some of you may not have realized. I hope you realize it now. Always check facts. This was maybe a story, but maybe another time. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here.
3, 2, 1, 0.
And leave you to it. But I will tell you, normally you will get a lot of information, extra information. I try to give you Christmas presents, and I hope the secretary.
Christmas? We are still in the middle of the year.
Yeah, it's always Christmas with me, you know. I sent to the administrator of the countries
in fact, I really
some
appreciate you.
ready-made documents you can immediately well, integrate in your company, in your organization, and so on, tools to help you and so on. So I hope that that is helpful. And please, administrators, can you send it to the students, to the delegates, please?
Yeah. Your presentation have been sent to the secretariat early in the day so that all of them can have it. One thing is sure, they're going to have it. Even some might have had on the mailbox, including the yesterday video. Meanwhile, we thank you very much. We really appreciate your hard work, and because these are some of the reasons why you are the queen, because you impart a lot of information. Now, somebody is quickly asking in the chat, please ask questions that can be used to prepare for exam. Do not worry for exam. We are just at the beginning. You know, as time goes on, we're going to give you all you need, right?
Yeah, all the information will follow.
If you have questions, pen them down. There are some sessions that will have enough time for you to ask your question, because a course without question is not a proper course. So we know that we learn from you through your question. So pen down your question, maybe tomorrow or any other session. If the lecturer is up to leave some minutes, you ask question. If not, there is a session prepared for your question. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, the Queen. Your information are timely and wonderful. We also take all the participants.
Yeah, timely. And thank you everybody for being so patient with me. I hope you did get something, and
Yeah,
I hope to see you next
learn.
courses too, and next
and by the
everyday
way,
discourse, of course.
By the way, I take all the leaders around to support. We are really happy. We really appreciate all of you for being quiet. You know, it's a time factor. We are concerned about time factor so that you can go for other activity. Tomorrow being a Wednesday, we're going to deal with yet another princess, another lady. Tomorrow we're going to do course 103. Course 103, so being prepared. It's time to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, let's see your face as we say hi. Please, if you will be going home, drive safe and keep yourself warm because of the weather, or keep yourself cold, depending where you are. We really appreciate you being around. Please do not forget to pen down your question. We are free to have your question and provide proper answer. Well, if no one has anything to say, we are coming gradually to the end.